What's something that's not right about your body, but not serious enough to go to a doctor about?
When I blow my nose, my left eye bubbles from the corner, like air coming through. Freaks me out every time because it feels so weird.
The nasolacrimal duct is what drains your tears from eyes to nose. If you generate enough pressure, you can blow air back up it.
Sometimes I'll have one random hair that grows out of my arm that has the consistency of plastic and is almost clear looking. My mum gets it too. It's just one hair edit, guys, it's not Morgellons disease.
I used to get that on my face. Every month or so it grew out of my chin, cheek area. It stopped appearing after a few years, which is good cause it would itch.
I have the same thing. It grows on my wrist and if I pull it out, it comes back in the same spot. Would love to know what this is.
There's an indent on my right foot where a horse stepped on it. I never went to a doctor about it and I assume it is in fact broken, but it's been almost 20 years.
There was a guy who was walking home and felt something hit his head. He assumed it was a falling brick. Years later, he hit his head again and got an X-ray. It revealed a bullet lodged in his skull, stopping just barely short of the brain. The earlier incident must have been a ricochet or a stray shot fired from too far away. The doctors left it as is because adequate scar tissue had already grown around the bullet.
Haha, same. Nothing like a 1,200 pounds animal stepping on your 9-year-old foot while wearing English riding boots.
My hip always hurts, especially in cold weather. But doctors would say to just take a Tylenol and rest.
Same, but my knees, and it happens when the weather changes.
Just asked my good friend Dr. Google about this one. Hey, to break it to ya, but your gym dog is gonna fall off in a week or two.
I also have this. Unfortunately, mine looks more like balls than an upside-down heart.
Maybe you were triplets and that's all that's left of him. A silent scream until you die.
My sisters are identical twins and they each have one canine tooth, on opposite sides too. Twins are effing weird.
This is due to your hard palate, roof of mouth, only closing 99% of the way in the womb. If your palate closed even less in the womb, you would have had a cleft palate, so lucky you.
My left leg makes cracking sounds when I walk upstairs.
My ankles make cracking sounds all the time, but I've never figured out why. It can be when walking upstairs or just waking up in the morning and just moving them, but never every time I do a certain thing.
My knee pops all the time. Once I was seeing a physical therapist for knee pain and they commented on the popping and asked if it hurts. I said it doesn't hurt at all, but it's super embarrassing.
When I walk downstairs, my knees sound like someone eating crunchy cereal.
You know that little flap anchoring your tongue to the bottom of your mouth? Mine's abnormally short, so I can't stick my tongue out as far as the average person. Technically, it was a doctor who told me I had that in the first place. I hadn't ever noticed it on my own, and they were trying to examine my throat for unrelated reasons and were getting annoyed that I wouldn't stick my tongue out farther as instructed. They eventually realized it wasn't just non-compliance and diagnosed the issue, then just kind of put up with a suboptimal throat view. But it's not what I was there for. Plus they said corrective surgery is an option and I've never cared enough to follow up on that. So I'm counting it.
Surgery for a tight frenulum is a seriously easy surgery that can be done in the office. If you'd want to, it could be fixed in like 5 minutes. Just in case you've never heard that before.
This is called ankyloglossia if you want to look it up. Unless it interferes with speech or breastfeeding, which isn't applicable to you anymore, treatment isn't normally recommended.
Tongue tie. My son has this. The nurse told me it was hereditary, so I told my husband, thanks, but then the nurse said I had it too. Lol, oops.
I had mine cut, frenectomy, when I was 26. I didn't know that everyone else could lick all their teeth. I will still sometimes just randomly stick my tongue out just because I can now.
My collarbone is always sore, to the point that it keeps me up at night. I guess I technically did go to a doctor. I went right after it started hurting and they accused me of drug seeking. That was a year and a half ago. I'll just live with it.
I had a similar issue that had been bothering me near my sternum for months. My doc recommended magnesium supplements. After about a month of taking them daily, I felt normal again.
I would recommend you go to a different doctor and start the appointment with, I've been in pain for a year, I'm not interested in drugs, and if you try to give them to me I won't take them. I just want to know what's wrong and if there's a way to fix it. This is how I was finally diagnosed with scoliosis. I now handle my chronic pain with an anti-inflammatory diet and 0 medications. Might be worth looking into for you.
Are you female? My mom was having what she thought was heart murmurs bad enough that her arm would cramp. She told the doctor every time she visited for a couple of years, and he basically told her that was silly and she was probably just doing too much. Then she happened to be there with my dad and he mentioned it and the doctor immediately arranged for an EKG and imaging a bunch of other tests. Eventually figured out she has osteophytes in her shoulder that were basically tearing into the underside of her muscles and giving her micro muscle spasms in her shoulder and around her collarbone. Sucks that such things happen, but maybe you're just the wrong type of person looking for help.
It's a shame this is the world we live in.
Me too. I was told over a virtual appointment, I'm not even sure my video was on, that clearly my bone structure must be wrong and physical therapy is the only thing that could possibly help.